For this week, starting the conversation, we're doing things a little bit differently. We're back at Banner Sports Medicine, and we're going to catch up with Dr. Leah Brown. She's an orthopedic surgeon who does many things here at Banner Health, but she's been all over recently. You know, she's a former gymnast at Georgia. She served in the Navy for over 20 years in medicine, and she also just got to go to the Olympics to help out with a lot of the women's athletes in different sports. So here's more with Leah Brown.
So the mental health aspect is something that I introduced early into my practice, not in a stigmatized way, but this is, again, it's about multidisciplinary care and a holistic approach to our athletes.
And I know you've been hammering that home, and it's true though. It's not just, you don't just come in because you blew up your ACL. You're coming in because you also need the emotional support. You need the rehab, you need the surgery, you need, the connections with other people going through same things at different levels. For a high school kid to come in with an ACL, maybe he walks in here and there's, an NFL guy with an ACL injury that's 5 months further along.
Exactly.
Right.
So again, we're bringing kind of the humanity back into medicine here. So the ACL is the perfect approach. There are so many components to maximizing ACL injury prevention and care. So there are the pre-exercises to minimize your risk for ACL injury. If the injury occurs, we have the physical therapist, we have the non-operative and operative aspects, we have the mental health aspects to get you through the very long process it is to get back to return to play. We have the nutritional component, and we also have the human component and having people that have been through it and people who are experts in getting people through it, all interrelated and all interconnected. We don't want people going through these processes in silos. It is important to be integrated into all of the things that are going to maximize their outcome.
I think the last thing I really got then for you is just, you've touched on a lot with all the important things here, but for you personally, what is the most rewarding thing about doing what you do, being here at Banner, working with teams like the Mercury? Like, what is it for you that's the most rewarding?
So I love being a part of a team, and I think that that's just kind of who I am as a person. It starts with family. I was part of a college gymnastics team, Go Dogs, University of Georgia. I joined the military. I'm still a part of the U.S. Navy. So all of that's part of a team, and here at Banner Sports Medicine, you're part of a big team. I love getting people back to doing the things that they love. One of the really nice parts about my job is that I'm not dealing with sick care, I'm dealing with function. And for me, the emotional tie to that is helps me connect better. I'm not dealing with life or death, but I am dealing with the functions of everyday life and the quality of life to people. And it brings me so much joy to get that athlete back on the field or to get that person healed. And it's not just about the ACL. It's about the rotator cuff and my pickleball patients. It's about, getting my runners back out there running because that is the mental health that they need to stay happy and to keep a good quality of life. It's the stress reliever. We know that exercise and moving and sports brings people together. It's good for mental health. It's good for the body. So that's what I enjoy so much about my job.
Yeah. That brought me back to one more thing too. So your journey, so Georgia, gymnastics, and then you joined the military?
Yes.
Which branch?
Navy.
Navy, okay. Thank
Go
you for
Navy.
your service. And were you in this field within the Navy? Were you doing medical things?
Yes, so I commissioned into the Navy right before I started medical school. So I went to medical school, then I did my residency training in the Navy, and then I was faculty in the Navy after I finished my residency training program. So I have just passed 21 years of service. I did 12 years active duty. I deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan. And all of this is in orthopedics and medicine. But I love my service. I continue my service to the country just because, it just feels good to take care of our servicemen and women and their families. And that is also a source of pride for me. But it's kind of the same thing about the community. I really like being out in the community. I like taking care of people. I believe in people. I like kind of the engagement and helping people be a version of their best selves.
Right. That brings me to probably one more final thing. There's so many things about you. You're very interesting to talk to. I'm enjoying this a lot. So with that too, so having experience seeing, troops on the front line, being deployed yourself, doing all that, is that experience that I know again sports medicine is everybody, but specifically with athletes that you can share? Because I know in an athletic bubble, sports fandoms, things like that,
Yeah.
things can seem so serious when they're not. It is a game at the end of the day, and you've seen, things that could be life or death.
Yeah.
Is that something that helps you relate a little bit more? And maybe like if an athlete comes in thinking, this is the end of the world, I'm on my fourth major
Yes.
injury, and you just are able to calm them down. Does that relate?
Yes, absolutely. And I think, my time in the service and my time overseas and deployed, it helps with perspective. And, I'm so honored to have served with the men and women that are doing the hard work and protecting and defending our country and keeping us all safe. And I think what helps is context. I know what life and death is. I also know what peak performance is. I know how to be creative in times of need, in times of limited resources. So it really taught me a lot about kind of being in undesirable circumstances, and also the challenges, both mentally and physically, that, unforeseen circumstances can have on people and performance. And so I take all of those lessons and I apply them to my interactions with patients, because, everyone is going through something at the same time. And usually when somebody's seeing me as an orthopedic surgeon, it's usually not at their best time. And in that moment, that is the most important thing to them. And I want them to know that in the moment is the most important thing to me. And having the context of those life experiences, I think helps me relate to people in that moment.